Hi guys, today we are discussing about the JavaScript. We know JavaScript is a client-side programming language. We use it for web development to make the web pages and web application that dynamic. Okay, we have a application. We have a web application here. We can. It's just a game. It's just a game. We can understand the JavaScript through this game. Okay, we can start. This is our game. Okay, you can see here. This is the layout. Just the layout without the JavaScript. Okay. We have two players, we have player 1 and player 2, and global score 43 and 72 11 0. These values and the image, these 5 points, having 5 points, are also we just made it as a default. Okay, I can show the HTML file. Okay, this is our HTML file that is being loaded to it. This is the header section containing the CSS, containing uh, a link that add the CSS file style sheet. We know if you want to make a web application or a game or a website like this, we want the CSS file to make attractive, to make modifications. Okay, this is the inclusion of CSS file, and hence we can see here the title eallisto internship game that you can see here. Okay, in this body section, we can move to body section. In this body section, we have two divisions. First one, the player 1 division, and another one is player 2 division. Okay, in this player 1 division, we can contain another subdivisions that uh, we can enter the name of each player. As defaultly, we just made it as a player 1 and player 2. We can enter the both name. Suppose Raju and Ramu. We want to see here, and we can enter before entering this game, before the execution of this game. Okay, we can see. We can move on. And another division is the 43. The 43 is taken as the global score. We want to describe about the rules and regulations of this game. Before that, I just describe the layout. Okay, I just describe the HTML and CSS that included. And here we score the global score, and we have some classes and IDs. Okay, in each divisions we have some classes and ID. The each class we can bear in mind. You can bear in mind each classes that we use in JavaScript. Okay, that's bear in mind. We have an ID name 0, score 0. That will be used in JavaScript also. Okay, this is the first division. This is the first division. This part. Okay, this part is the first division. That is the left side of this layout. Okay, the player 1 layout. And another is player 2. We have a class player 1 panel, and under subclasses, under divisions, and having the classes player name and player score, player current box, etc. That's are the classes. That's are the names that we given for the classes. Okay, we have here the 43 value and 72 that we included to default as default. Okay, and you can see here the lot of buttons: new game, roll dice, hold, eallisto. That are the buttons that are included in this game. But here no effect when we pressing new game, roll dice, hold. Once we can press roll dice, but there is no effect. uh, you cannot see any window, or you cannot see any change in this layout. Okay, we want to take some task to these buttons that we need to develop through this JavaScript. Okay, we want to include the task or events. Okay, to all these buttons. And at last, this HTML page, you can see here we include the app.js file. That is a script. We have a script. That is a script app.js that we included for for this game, that we include for this game is just a layout. We have layout of this game. We cannot play this game. Okay, we want to include the app.js, and before that we want to make an js file. Okay, app.js, that name app.js. Okay, we want to develop a app.js, that a javascript file to run that game. Okay, and we have, let's start. We want some variables to store the current score or global score and the player name, etc. So I just declare the variables that we want: user1, user2. These two variables that I declare for the to store name of each players. The the first player name will be stored in user1, and the second player name will be stored in user2. Okay, this is the variable. We have a lot. You can see here player 0 panel and player 1 panel. We want to change these divisions by the execution. Okay, we want to change each divisions. We have included a variable x, the name x. uh, we just include x here, not 0 and 1, x here to by the execution. Okay, variable x, and this for the total score, that means the global score. This for the pre-score, that means the current score. You can see in red box. This is the value in dice. Okay, okay. The game variable is used for when game is true. When game we set as game is equal to true. When game is true, it will be execution of the game, and when game is false, it will be the end of the game. Okay, so these are the variables that we want to through this JavaScript. Before that, I just explain the rules and regulations here. We have lot of rules. Okay, this is the game rules. We have two players, and we can enter the name of each player, and uh, in each turn a player rolls a dice as many times as he wishes. Okay, each result get added to his round score. Round score means the current score that you can show that you can see in the red box. Okay, I can show you. Okay, this is the red box. This is the current score, and each score will be added to this score. Each score will be added to the score. Once if he get one, the dice as one, the current score will be removed. Before that, he want to hold his score. He can press the button hold, and by pressing this button, the score will be the current score will be added to this global score. And the once player, player who got the score 100, or greater than 100, he will be the winner in global score. Okay, in if we press the roll dice, uh, it will, here will show here we can show 1 to 6 dice. we have 1 to 6 dices. Okay, here you can show the image as 1 to 6 dices. The each dice value will be added to the current score. Okay, this is the rules and regulations in this game. The Okay, this is the variables that we declare for this for the JavaScript. Okay, here we want a prompt. We want a message box to before entering this game by giving this message: enter name of player one. And so we want to enter the name, and the variable user want to store the player one name, and so as so 2 is equal to prompt enter name of player 2. Okay, okay, we have two prompt that you can that you can see by execution. So this is the game that I included the app.js. Not this app.js. I have already included. I have already written the JavaScript file that is included to this execution. Okay, we have see the two. We have see the two divisions. One is we can see the two divisions here, and by entering this game we have the values 0 and 0. For that we want to show a prompt. So you can see here the enter name of player one. This page says it is the message box that I created here, and we just given a name Raju and Rahul. Okay, we just entered two names here that is shown here, Raju and Rahul. Okay, and next we have a function. We just execute the function play. Before that uh, we want to define each functions that we included in in this game. So we just define the functions that we have. Function play game equal to true, that we set as the variable game as true. Prescore equal to 0. activity score to 0 x equal to 0. Okay, when the window is open, when this game is open, we have values. Each values will be 0. Must be 0. Okay, when game start, the values will be 0. This play functions is used for this game. We set the game as true. We can we cannot stop. We wouldn't want to stop the game. We want to play the game. So the game is true. If the value is 100, that will be the game value will be false. Okay. So first we set these values as 0. That's the function of play. And next, so before that we will before entering this game we just add Raju and Rahul as the names, but uh, that not that not necessary to the necessary that that not only for to display the names here. This is the code. The document is an object get element by id, from user1. User1 is the variable that is called the value, that is called the name of the player 1, that we store the name of player 1 and the text content that we entering that text, that message box, that content will be taken as name 0. This is the id taken as name 0 that will be displayed here by this code. And so as this we have a name 1 to store the player name of 2. Okay, so just we store these uh, variables as id. Okay, document dot get element by id, element by id, current 0. So here the current value will be 0. Once we execute the this game without the JavaScript, we have a value here 11, you see before. So by this line we can set the current value as 0 in here. Okay, as much we can we want to set the current value as 0 as also here. So I just copy paste the line. Okay, we just given the id as 1. So the value, the id having current, we have the current one as the id here, and we have the current 0 as the id here. The id that have the text content will be 0. That is the meaning of these two lines. Next, document dot query selector. Okay, document dot query selector. So by this line we can, by entering this enter to this game, we can see here a point here. We can see a point here. That means now the turn of Raju is active. As we, I can show the game. Then here the turn is going to the next player Rahul. Okay, you can see here the point will be toggle to this section. That is the that is given to here. Query selector means the player zero panel. Player zero panel means a class name. Okay, dot when we access the classes in JavaScript, that will be started with the dot, and when we access the ID in JavaScript, that will be started with the hash. Okay, here we using dot player zero panel means the class name which have player zero panel, uh, the property, the having some CSS properties. The CSS properties will be in this class. The CSS properties will be added to active. Okay, add an active property as a CSS, and also we want another line that we have pair one panel, add, not add, just remove active. Okay, here when player zero panel is active section is inactive, is having a point like this, a point like this, then the player 2 section will not have like this point. Okay, that will remove from when game start, that will remove from the game. Okay, that remove from that active, the property active that remove from the player 1 panel class. Okay, that is the use of query selector. Next, okay, this is the function play. We just it is a this symbol we can understand by if we entering to this game, these functions must be happen. Okay, these are the functions that happen when we enter to this game. Okay, we can see here the global score and current score are set as 0, as not as the default values here, and the ended game as displayed here, Raju and Rahul. And the active section means we can see the right display uh, as the different color. Okay, that is the that is the property of active. And we have another functions next player. Next player means when we hold the button, we press hold button, or when we get the value 1 as the dice value here, and that we want to give the turn to next player. So the next player, we want a function by the name of next player. Okay, we have another function and next player. We just given a short. So we have another function next player. We have a definition to it. We set the values pre-score 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 equal to 0, x equal to 0, x equal to 1, x equal to 0. Okay, in this function we set the value for pre-score is equal to 0, as we done here, and this is the condition checking. When if x is equal to 0, then the value will be changed to 1. If otherwise, the value will be changed to 0. That is the condition checking. And also we just assign the value for x. Okay, document dot get element by id. Which means in current 0, is the we have the id current 0, and also current 1. I just copy this line. Okay, as we done here, current 0 and current 1 dot text content equal to 0. That as we done here, that will be assigned as a 0 value, the current score as assigned as a 0 value. When we press the next player, uh, when the turn of another player, the player next the function next player will be executed, and this line will be executed as the current value will be 0. When we go to when if our first time if our first turn is Raju, uh, he just turned the he just turned the play to Rahul, the value of each player will be 0. So by hold button, the Rahul is changed to Raju. The as we said, the current score will be 0 in these both. Okay. Next, we just include these lines too here. That is also necessary when we turn the player. Okay. Here we just give toggle. Okay, we want to toggle this point when we passes the turn to next player. When we press the hold dice, or otherwise we get the value as 1 here. Next, document dot copy selector dot dice. Here, we cannot see the dice image as that is you should here the style dot display the dice image style dot display will be none in the first case of the when we execute the game as we doesn't need a value here when start the game. Okay, this is the section. This is the lines of code that we included in the next player, and we want to this is just we define the define the methods that we include in the JavaScript, and we just run the play functions only, and we want a main part of the JavaScript as document dot query selector document dot query selector dot btn row So by if we define only this function, we cannot apply the task to each buttons. So we want to apply the task for each button that we included here. So this was just the function definitions. We want to add even listener, which means we want to add a task for the button btn role. Btn role means which is the id, which is the class name of roll dice. Okay, as we mentioned above, this is the class name of roll dice. Okay, we want to set for some code for this roll dice button. Before that, as when click this button, this is the meaning of this line. When click this button, we want to execute a function that we included in this part. Okay, if okay, it means the variable that we stored in game, that may be true or false. If it is true, we can execute this. If it is true or maybe false, we can execute this function dash equal to. Here we have a variable dice that we declared above, and we have two predefined functions here, math.random and math.floor. Math.random means it will be select, it is a predefined function. It will select a value between 0 point 0 and 1.0. Okay, it may be the maybe the rational numbers. Okay, 0 and 1.0. That will be multiplied by 6 to get the answer from 0 to as we will get the answer from 0 to 5 point something. Okay, and the value, suppose we get the value of math dot random in this we get the value as 5.2. The method flow of 5.2 means the highest value, the next highest integer of that number, which means the next highest integer of the 5.2, that will be 6. The next highest will be 5, that will be the 6. Then that value added to that will be then the value will be added to 1, that will be stored to dice. As we store to dice a value, we get a, if we press the roll dice, we get a value here 3. Okay, which means we get the value 3 as dice. Okay, so here we get the 3. Suppose here we get the value for dice as 3. That the image representing 3, that will be shown here. Okay, we want some code var. Before that, we declare another variable dice img, which means the dice image. Put is selector. Here you get the value 3 as here. The value we want a dice image from the source file. Okay, document.query selector from dice, which means the property from this class dice will be select as a document, and we want to display the image dice img dot style dot display equal to block. It means the image will be as a block, as we represent here the style dot, which means the image display will be as a block. Okay, dice img dot slash equal to dice. Okay, if here we get the 3 as an answer, we want an image having 3. Okay, we just uh, borrow from the file that we have already, we have already. Okay, we get the 3 as the value that will be here. That means the src file will be dice hyphen 3.png. You can see here, we can number of we can 1 to 6 dice here, and as we get the dice value, we can representing the we can display the image from this file. Okay, next is another function. It's not function, it's another condition checking. If dice not equal to 1, if dice the value of dice is not equal to 1, we have to run the set of statements like rescore in each execution. If we get the value as 3, that will be stored to current score. And again, I want to roll the dice. I just roll the dice, and here we get the 1 as the value. That As the result, the current score is removed here. uh, okay, here we get the 3 as the result. Okay, here we get the 4 and 6. Okay, 2, that the 2 score is added to here. Once we get 4 and next we get 2 as the value, the value is added to here, is the summation of the score is done. So that is this function. If dice is not equal to 1, the pre-score will be added by each rolling. Document dot array selector. Dot text content equal to pre-score. Here current x, which may be current 0 or current 1, that is according to the variation of the x. The we have the current x, current 0 or current 1 as the id, so that is be given as here. Current x, the pre-score, the value pre-score in text content, which means the current score. We want to show the score here. Okay, here we can represent, we can show the, we can see the score as 6. If we want to get the 6 as the score, as this score is, this line is used. Once we added the pre-score, that will be added but not display here. The if you want to display the score as here, this score, this line is needed. Okay, else it will be the turn of next player. So we want to run the next player function. Okay, this is the else part. Okay, and it is the, it is the task of button roll. When we press the button roll dice, we want to display the image here, and we want to add the each score that we get from the dice to current score. Okay, this is the function of hold roll dice. As we get the result as this. But if the value of, when we press the roll dice, if the value is 1, we want to make the screen as current 0 and current 0, and also we want to toggle active, and we want to turn the, player. Okay, that is included in it. And another document dot query selector. BTN hold. So even listener. Okay, we want to add a task to the button hold. Okay, the BTN hold is the class name of this button. We uh, we just access all the properties of this class BTN hold, and we add a task to this hold button by clicking that button. Okay, if game if game we want to add kt score of x. We just declare this as an array. Here, when we press the hold button, we want to add the current score into the global score. That will be done here. The pre-score will be that we get from this function. The pre-score the pre-score will be the we have a pre-score here. The pre-score will be added to the total score by incrementing the total score. The total score is saved to score of x. That may be a score of 0 and score of 1. That is the ID we use for these two divisions of for the players Raju and Rahul. That will be added as a text content. Okay, and we declare here another variable winning score. So we declare as 100. Okay, this is the game of this is the rule of the game. And we have a else part of this function. Else next player. It will be the turn of next player. Okay. Also, we have a new game button here. Also, we want to take some actions for this button. So before that, I can show the buttons that we included some task for the roll dice and hold button. Just I just roll dice. I just press the roll dice. Rahul get the current score as 6, and if he wishes, he want to more score. He roll dice again and again, and as we the total score, which means the pre-score will be, it's not the total score, it is the pre-score. Pre-score will be added to this box. Okay, if he wishes, if he want to lose his score, and he want to hold the score, that will be added to this part, that will be the TT score. Okay, as we press the hold, the current value will be 0 here and here also, and as we press the hold button, the active region is going to the next player. Okay, and we want to make some tasks for new game button. Document dot query selector btn role, and before that we have some statements also here. If we want to check by the last of this game, we want to check some who is the winner. Okay, as we play, or it will be the turn of next player. If the result is 72 and 94, again we play roll dice. Just roll. Okay, when Rahul gets 102 as the global score, is greater than the 100, so we want to display the winner message, like a message. So we want some statements to execute that message. Okay, If this is the condition checking if tt score of x, which means the total score is greater than or equal to winning score, that is stored as a 100 as the value. We want to run set of statements. Document dot document dot query selector hash name hash name plus x dot text content equal to winner. Okay, document dot query selector dot dice style dot display equal to none. Okay, here we can see we cannot see the value or the we can see the image of the dice. So that will be the execution of this line document dot query selected dot dice. The style dot display, the style of the display as make it as none. Okay, dice images make it as none. Also, we have a message here winner that we want to include. Document dot query selector here x okay dot class list dot class list dot remove, sorry, dot add winner. Here uh, we can represent this as the as we know the class name. The if the class name is player 0 panel or player 1 panel, either it is 0 or it is 1, that will depend upon the x, the variable. Okay, that will be shown as winner, which means the name Rahul is removed from here and the added to winner, added as a winner. That is we given some we given winner as the uh, name, as a name here, and we just added to the css property and by the class player -x panel. Okay, and also why if so here Rahul is the winner. We cannot see here the active. Okay, we cannot see it, here the point, the turn of the player. The turn of the player is not, we want to exit the actually want to exit the game by removing the turn point, which means the point that we have here. Okay, so that we want to use some code, document dot Fourier selector dot add, sorry, dot remove. Okay. So we here if the toggle if the active point is here is here, that will be removed from the class, the remove from the CS properties from the class list. Okay, here in this game, at the time of winning the time, the turn of the player is for this Rahul. So here we cannot see the active point. Okay, so that is removed from the game. There is no need of active point by a player wins the game. Okay, else okay, we have a else part for this function also. Else, which means if the winning is not happened in this game, we want to make sure that don't get each player. So if it is not, if the total score is not greater than winning score, we want to run the game until a player get a score greater than or equal to 100. That will be uh, so we want to execute the next player function, so that is we included it. So the function of uh, this button is over, and we have another button, new game. We get some task, we give some task for this button, and even listener click function. Okay, by clicking the new game button, we have to start the start the game from firstly. Okay, so here we include display function only. Okay, this is the necessary it is necessary to it. Okay, so we press here new game. It is the display, it is the layout that we seen from the starting, that is the players will be the same, Raju and Rahul. There is no changing to it, but the preset, the play score and the global score will be change it to 0, and the active point will becomes here. Okay, the player will be start from the first. Okay, this is the app.js that we included in this HTML. Okay, you can see here, and thank you to see the video. Please subscribe.